Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Doc C, PhD company. Not being braggadocio, but I have world-class achievements in science inventions and in some other disciplines. I think it'd be a good idea. I'm starting a series of videos for the intelligentsia of this mundo. Sort of a website, videos for intelligentsia mundo worldwide. It would, of course, add a little quantity, but quality to what's being presented on this internet. And to give a chance for you, and especially you, millions to just put forward, similar to this Wikipedia, of their opinion, expertise of what they have studied and achieved, so it can be viewed and appreciated. Where to start? Why not start with man himself? How did we get here? Why are we here? What best to do? Well, there can be endless discussion of how did we get here, but there's historic evidence, drawings in caves and so forth, that in the inland, all those clans, they were actually sort of animals and then humans. They existed, they tried to survive. Now, the age of the dinosaurs. But at the same time, there were along the seas and along rivers and inland waterways where those clans developed with a higher culture and intellect. In my opinion, they were humans, then animals. From that time, and there was a movie, 1 million BC, I think was the title, and it graphically presented how these tribes, living in animals and then humans, tried to survive. And one of the leaders then came in contact with the clans who were along the ocean, the seas, and the lakes and the rivers, and they had a higher culture, and now developed where they could combine their better ways of surviving and improving, and they're sort of having some sort of culture, ethnic society, and a little bit of maybe law and government. Then we get, of course, to the great civilizations, and the Egyptians, Babylonians, and Asia, Chinese civilization, the Phoenicians, the Greeks. The Greeks developed a high culture and intellect. Libraries of significance, philosophers, Aristotle, that delved into man's thinking and what this world maybe was composed of. So man is progressing, and women are getting more rights, and they're progressing. And there's the Romans, who then put their, the Roman Empire with all of their improvements in civil engineering and in government of representation. They had a Senate where they elected a leader instead of someone saying, I'm the power from inheritance. So there is progress and definitely intellectual thinking and achievements. Well, we get to where, when is it sort of modern? Galileo. We have the Renaissance with Galileo putting forth, defining phenomena, universal phenomena, and his definitions were valid when he presented them. And that definition is correct and still is valid today. Critical importance, in my opinion, is that he said, if you go a distance at a certain increment of time, that's your velocity. V equals d over t. Velocity is a amount of distance you cover per unit of time. Defined, it's valid then and is valid today. He put forward, you have a certain mass, and you overcome this mass by giving it a force, and then it accelerates from 0 to a velocity. And velocity over time is v over t is velocity over t squared. So you have where he has force is mass times acceleration. And what is acceleration? Velocity over time. Then he said, well, if the free fall of gravity is g, and when the acceleration reaches 32 feet per second, that's the same as the free-falling g. He did that by inclined planes first, and then realized that you get the same result from free fall as you would with as least friction as you could on an inclined plane as it went from 0 towards perpendicular in free fall. He completed accurately everything he tried. I've studied all the scientists, where they obtained their material, their thinking, the validity of their work, etc. The only thing Galileo didn't resolve was the finite velocity of light, because in his day, the best timepiece they had was a 1-second water clock. Well, in 1 second, light, EM waves, light from the sun, reaches the earth with a speed, in 1 second would circle the earth over 7 times. So as Galileo went from mountaintop to mountaintop, greater distance, trying to catch the velocity of light, now he's elderly in his eyesight. The reporters said, Galileo, well, what do you really think of this light? And it was kind of raining, and he's tired, and he says, well, if it's not instantaneously, it's blankety blank, gosh darn fast. But he was able to observe moons going around a planet. Therefore, said Copernicus was right about the earth circling the sun. Had to overcome great obstacles. That seems to be the norm of achievers. What we have then is, in the Renaissance, the enlightenment of man and women, of improving their culture by improving their intellect and putting that forward where it is viewed and appreciated. And that's what I'm suggesting to you and especially you. Contribute the entire subject matter, improve on it, fine. part of it with your expertise to detail, fine. Similar to them, the contributions in Wikipedia. What I want to emphasize, though, is that don't be hesitant. You've earned, by studies and achievements, your status. Let others view that, and it will be to their benefit, and I am sure they will appreciate your expertise. And with that, I say until next time, do contribute, and thank you.